Well, I used to do the morning announcements in high school, which I'm sure surprises you. And almost every time I did it, you got to do, if you were chosen to do it, you got to do it once a week. And every time I'd begin with, would the owner of an Audi S4, please? And every time they'd be like, David, just do the I was like, all right.
The car alarm's going off.
Your car is being towed.
You messing around on the microphone?
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Would the owner of a Renault 605, please
Oh, that's right. You were
move your
in
car?
France,
That's right. Please move your car.
So you had to make, not only you had to make the joke, but you had to make it in French.
Right.
just picturing somebody in the school hears the announcement. Moi voiture.
You know, it's funny you say that because I know that happened at least once. Hey everybody, welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Dave Riedel. I write for Salt Lake City Weekly, Orlando Weekly, and I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. Yeah.
My name is Megan Kearns. I'm a freelance writer, editor of Bitch Flicks, and I am also a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
And my name is Evan Korean. I am editor for The Independent. I'm co-chair of BAFCA and co-author of your 80s movie guide to better living.
Hey, this week on the show, or if I were Ed Sullivan, I'd say the shoe.
I thought you were going the Fonzie route.
No. What would Fonzie say?
Because he was like, hey.
Oh.
Hey.
I'm stupid. I don't know. We have 4 movies we're going to talk about this week. It's a 3/4 horror week on Spoiler Piece. We got Little Joe, which doesn't sound like a horror movie, but I guess it is. I didn't see it. Underwater, The Grudge, which I guess is actually The Grudge, and The Wave, which is not a horror movie, but is a trippy sci-fi kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we'll get to whether it's horrifying or not. So, but before we do all that, did you guys have anything to say about the Oscar nominations? Because that happened.
It sure did.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, I'm disgusted with some of the choices, like Joker getting the most nominations.
Yeah, I really don't understand.
No.
11 nominations? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay, Joaquin Phoenix, why not?
You're like, fine.
Fine.
I mean, I would still say no, but fine.
I would still say no, but I'll accept it. Everything else? Are you fucking kidding me?
I know. I mean, why don't they just nominate Martin Scorsese for the award and be like, this is actually for Taxi Driver and King of Comedy.
Right?
But, you know,
I feel like we watched a completely different film than like everyone else.
I know.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I watched an incel's fantasy. I don't know what everybody else saw.
That's exactly the film I saw too.
And the thing is, too, for Academy voters, they never latch on to the really weird, interesting shit. I mean, this year they got Parasite. Yay. I feel like it had a stronger chance of winning things.
Right.
But, like, of all times for them to pick fucking Joker, that's the weird, out-of-the-box, out-there thing that they decided to latch onto. Because that's a fucking joke.
It's the safe... nice. It's the safe weird thing.
Yeah, and
so that's why
what
it's
makes,
okay. Yeah.
That's what makes it frustrating.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that anybody thought that Todd Phillips, did a better job directing his feature last year than Greta Gerwig
I was
did
just gonna
directing
say,
Little Women.
Greta Gerwig got the shaft. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah. It's
unbelievable.
It's the same thing over again, though.
Unbelievable.
It's Oscar so white.
Yeah.
Mostly so white.
Mostly so white.
Oh, because one person in the acting category?
I'm just saying you can't use the hashtag because, you know, I mean, you could.
I mean, I still think it counts. I mean,
oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not
No.
them.
No, I know.
And then, like, we have to unfortunately have the token nomination of, a black actress who is in a movie about a slave. Like, they always pick the historical fucking movies about slaves. Right. It's like the only time. And it's like, no, that should not be the only time that we're thinking about black actors.
Slaves and maids. That's it.
And then, women across categories, but mainly director. What the fuck?
Exactly. I mean, this pisses me off. I mean, this is my rant every single year that women directors are never awarded or never given the credit that they deserve.
But Catherine Bigelow got Best Director.
Oh my God! I mean,
a decade ago,
right? Exactly.
I'm not arguing with you.
You're saying that's what other people are saying.
That's why I put on The Voice.
I know. The Voice. You're like, that's not me. That's not Dave. Yeah. No. And Catherine Bigelow's great, and that's a great film. But Jesus Christ, we shouldn't have to be fishing for exceptions to the rule.
I know. It really is a bummer.
I mean, I think it's only 6 women have been nominated for Best Director in the history of the Oscars.
It's definitely, you can count it on 2 hands.
Yeah, I think it's 6 because I think last year Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird became the 6th, which is pitiful. It's disgusting, especially considering this year.
There are a lot of good movies directed by women.
So this is the thing. Every single year when I talk about women-directed films, I legitimately get some people being like, but were there any really great movies by women? And I'm like, yes, shut the fuck up. There were. And this year particularly, there were so many.
Yeah.
Like almost my entire top 10 was just women-directed films. And
that's because you're a woman.
That's right. No, it's not. But yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, easily I could have done like another 10, 20 more films that were incredible that were directed by women. That just happened to be amazing. Not because they were directed by women, but they just were amazing.
I don't expect Olivia Wilde to get a nomination for Booksmart because it's just not the kind of movie that gets nominated. But it's fucking better than Joker.
Oh my God. It's 10,000 times better directed than Joker.
It's like Joker is just like... I just don't... There's not one original idea in that movie. Not one.
No.
And the whole idea, let's just go back to the plot for a minute, that this fucking guy who's such a loser, he can't even keep a job as like a clown, children's clown guy, he's going to become a criminal mastermind? How?
Yeah. It doesn't fucking make any sense.
Maybe that's the commentary that he's not a criminal mastermind. I don't even know.
I don't fucking know.
It doesn't even make any sense.
But I mean, Megan, to your point, there was a tweet that I retweeted that said, watch Hustlers, Atlantics, The Farewell, Little Women, High Life, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Those were all in my top 10 except
Those
for
are
Hustlers.
all amazing films directed by women, so I don't want to hear that bullshit that women didn't do anything good this year. There's so many amazing films every year, but seriously this year... Any one of those films could be, in my opinion, out. Joker, or I didn't think 1917 was that special. I think any of these other films could easily replace several of the the nominated films in the Best Picture category or the Best Director category.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, there are so. I mean, and that's just that doesn't even touch. Like that's the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more films that are just incredible. I need to put it out there.
Yeah.
I need to put every single one out there because they're all amazing.
I mean, you're both absolutely right. I mean, I didn't even really... I kind of forgot that the Oscars were being announced, and I saw a bunch of people tweeting about it. I'm like, oh! And so I looked, and it's like, of course.
Right.
It's everything that I expected. It's so predictable and stupid, and I understand, they got, like, movie attendance is down, and you got to do the fucking... fuck off. Just like, if you're going down anyway, none of you are going to lose any work because of all the streaming services out there. So just vote for the best thing.
Exactly. Why are we pandering? Like, it's just, it's obnoxious. And, we're talking about women, but we're not even talking about the number of queer filmmakers, the number of people of color filmmakers who are also shut out of award shows and who are mostly shut out of this year's award show.
Right. Just not even fucking nominated, let alone have a shot at winning. And I mean, I'm looking at the director's category, and I love Quentin Tarantino. Do I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is best director material? No. I didn't think it was that great among Tarantino movies. Like Martin Scorsese loved The Irishman. Do I think it ranks among his best work?
No.
Well,
I mean,
no, not his best work. No,
I mean, like, it's good. It's really good. Yeah. It comes to a very strong conclusion, but I spent 2 out of 3 hours mostly kind of bored. So can I say that is deserving of best director? No. Honestly.
Right. Yeah.
It's such a shame that directors who, and not just directors, but writers, and other filmmakers who are, doing innovative, different, out of the box things are just not rewarded. And,
where's the nomination for Knives and Skin?
Oh, poor Knives and Skin. But the thing of it is like people talk. One of our friends, our colleague, Dee Dee Crimmins, tweeted about this. And this is something that I often agree about. I agree with her about this, that people talk about like, well, who cares about award shows? Who cares? What do they matter? They do matter because they affect who gets, greenlighted, who gets the funding, for future projects. So it does, even if you think it doesn't matter, it actually does matter in the long run. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they can fucking say the guy who wrote and directed fucking Green Book.
I knew you were going to say Green Book.
How can we not just continue to dwell on it? It's the most recent offense.
It's shameful. It is just shame.
Next year, I'm sure we'll have something else to complain. Well, one of these choices.
Well, when Joker wins,
when Joker wins, yes.
And then fucking Todd Phillips is a cat. This is how you know that they actually don't mean anything in reality, though. That the guy who directed fucking Road Trip and the Hangover trilogy is a Best Director nominee. Now, I'm not saying you can't pivot and have a more Oscar-worthy career. I don't know. Yeah. But this is a guy who has more or less said, I made this movie because I can't say, I can't call people the F word anymore in my comedies. If you recall the Dr.
F
joke from The Hangover. Which is, that's not what he said, but that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So,
Yeah, let's reward that guy. That guy should definitely be making more films.
Anyway.
Agreed.
Ugh.
So let's move on to something. I don't know if it's more happy to talk about the 3 horror movies you saw, Megan.
I think it's way more happy.
All right.
Absolutely.
Do you want to start with Little Joe? Just because I expect this movie to be about like a boxer or a boxer's kid, but it's not.
It is not. No, and this is more on the sci-fi side of horror.
Boo.
Oh
Sorry.
My God.
I don't have a dog in this
Maybe
fight.
I was like, well, it depends on what you. Well, yeah. Anyway, I was thinking like, there's no time travel or anything like that, but that's not what constitutes sci-fi. I'm losing my mind. I swear. Okay, Little Joe. So Little Joe came out the end of last year, and I was really excited to see it because speaking of segueing into women-directed films, this is a woman-directed film. It's by Jessica Hausner, who also co-wrote the film. She also did the films Lourdes and Amour Fou. And
I saw Lourdes.
Oh, well, did you like it?
I think I saw Lourdes. Give me a minute.
All right. It's about a woman with a disability who goes to see. Yeah. Okay. So Little Joe stars Emily Beecham and Ben Whishaw, and they are scientists. They're botanists, to be specific, and they're
like the most boring, easy science, though. I mean,
well,
come on.
I mean, they're doing some genetic engineering with plants. And
yeah, but not with people. So I'm just kidding. Is that where it goes? Oh my God.
No.
All right.
No, but that's where I kept thinking it was going. So, but we'll get there. So it starts off, and the cinematography is absolutely exquisite. And the cinematographer also did the cinematography of Goodnight Mommy, which I don't know if you guys saw it.
I don't think so.
Oh, hell
my
yeah.
God. It is terrifying.
Is that the one about the twins?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I didn't see it, but we spoiler pieced it. So.
Oh, thank God. Because you have to see it at some point.
Well, I guessed the ending, though.
The ending's amazing.
Yeah.
But that ending visually is burned on my brain.
Hey.
Pun intended. Yeah, but that is a gorgeous film. And the cinematography here is just exquisite. It is stunning. And there are vibrant colors, and the camera work is interesting. It's really gorgeous and lush. And so there are 2 botanists, and Emily Beecham has revolutionized this plant, or she's created this plant species, and everyone's getting ready for this flower show to show these new genetically engineered flowers. And her flower gives it doesn't have any, like, you can't be allergic to it. And it gives off a scent that makes people happy. Like, it taps into oxytocin and, like, makes people happy. So,
oh boy.
Yay. And weird things start happening pretty early on. Like, her flowers, as they start blooming, start killing off other flowers.
Whoa.
And yeah. And then,
like the roots take over, and like what happens?
No, just
they kill them.
No, not that either. Just one day the flowers next to them are in the greenhouse are just wilting and dying, and so can't possibly be the other plants. So Emily Beecham is a single mom, and her son is named Joe, and her son is left alone a lot, and she wants to give him a plant and to make him happy.
Oh my God, my eyes are so wide right now.
So she gives him a plant and she names it Little Joe. And the other thing about these plants is that they like to be talked to. Like, you need to talk to it. You need to keep it in a warm temperature. You have to take care of it.
And this is an English movie?
Yes, this is.
There's no warmth in England.
everyone's very cold.
Yeah.
and the temperature is cold. And Carrie Fox is in it. I know you were excited, Dave, because of Shallow Grave. And she has a dog, and she brings her dog to the lab. And the dog's very playful, likes to play fetch. And then one day, dog doesn't want to play fetch and tries to bite her. And she's like, that's not my dog. And she's like freaking out. And we just like weird things are happening around these fucking plants. And like the movie kind of goes on for a long time, but basically people start changing when they inhale the pollen of this plant. And the other interesting thing about it is that Emily Beecham designed the plants to be sterile. And Carrie Fox, they cannot reproduce. And Carrie Fox gives this really kind of bizarre mini speech where she's like, well, that's unnatural. It's the purpose of life to reproduce. And then, but someone says to her, you're a scientist, don't say that, or something like that, which is kind of, funny. Yeah. But then it kind of does seem to be the case that the plants are trying to reproduce. So Carrie Fox hypothesizes that the plants are trying to reproduce and they're taking over people's minds, or they're doing some kind of mind control, but they're trying to
have little plant babies through people.
I'm not entirely sure, but basically, like through the inhaling of the scent, it affects the olfactory system, which connects to the brain. Supposedly, like it affects the brain. And
is anybody killing anybody?
Well, that does happen. Yes.
Okay.
Wait, does it have it? No, it does. Wait, does it? This is ridiculous. I can't even remember. Oh my God.
But I guess, so if the flowers are supposed to make you happy though, why is the dog like, I hate you, bite? I don't understand. Is it having like the opposite effect on animals? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm asking too many questions.
No, these are good questions. They never really explain that. But people who inhale them, the pollen, get weird because all they want to do is protect the plant. They don't want to do anything else. So like her son, when he like inhales the pollen, he's not himself anymore. He's like a very different person. Like he wants to go live with his dad, and he didn't want to ever see him before, and now he's hanging out with this girl all the time, and all he does is show her the plant, and like
come over and see my plant, baby.
And like all his other interests have like got fallen by the wayside.
They've all become plant-based interests.
Yes.
Oh my God. Exactly. Is this like, do you take an anti-vegan diet? Do you start eating meat because you don't want to eat plants?
That doesn't happen, but that would be amazing. But yeah, so basically,
sorry, didn't mean to.
That's amazing. So yeah, and so there's one scene where her son, so Emily Meecham's like thinking everything's creepy, and but she's convinced throughout. She's like, no, these plants are great because this is my life's work. And then her son at one point is like, yeah, Mom, we're not ourselves anymore. He's with his girlfriend, and he's like, we're not ourselves anymore. We've been taken over by the plants, and we've become calm, and you should become like us too. And then
so it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
But then, well, yes and no, because then he's like, ha ha, we're just kidding. He's like, of course, that's just ridiculous. And so there's all these kind of like winks, like, yes, this is exactly what's happening, but there's no proof. And there was genome sequencing and everything's fine. But it's really, of course, not fine, because every single person has completely changed their personality where everything is great. And like Emily Beecham is watching. They had to do allergy testing, and she's watching these videos where people are talking about allergies, and the videos are edited, and she's like, what the hell? I need to see the full videos. And one of her coworkers is like, no, they're too long. I had to edit them. She finds them, and people are talking about like how their partner is not themselves. Their kids are not themselves. And things changed when the plant came around.
How did Emily Beecham not changed? Does she not have a sense of smell? I mean, does she not?
She didn't inhale the plant. You have to like inhale like the
sure,
scent in the
but
pollen.
like huffing plant.
How do you not? If this is your life's work and you're around fucking plants all the time and giving plants away, it's like you're not gonna.
Wouldn't you inhale your own?
Get a
plants?
whiff of
right, exactly. Well, and so by the end of the film, she has inhaled, and so.
Oh, and so she's like, the plants must live. And that's it? I take
pretty
it?
much.
I used to think they were bad, but now I think they're great.
Now I think they're amazing. So yeah, I liked this. I think it's a really interesting idea, more than perhaps phenomenally executed.
This sounds like it would make a great science fiction short story.
Yes. It's funny.
45 pages.
It's funny that you say that because I thought this would make and this is not a knock, this is actually a compliment. This would make a great Twilight Zone episode, or this would be a great short film. Yeah. But having it be an hour and a half just felt a little too long. Like, okay, we need more here. And so, but the visuals are beautiful. It's it's really a really compelling idea. Like, there's great ideas here because she starts by the end of the film, because she's in therapy throughout, and she's like questioning herself and questioning her certain decisions, but then she's like, no, that's not possible. By the end of the film, she's like, maybe I really didn't want my son around. After she's inhaled the plant, she's like, maybe I didn't want him around. Maybe I really did want him to go live with his father because now I have more time for my work. So it's kind of some intriguing commentary on single mothers and work and reproduction. I just wish there had been a little more depth to it, but there's a lot of interesting ideas here.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you've spoiler pieced me into wanting to see it. I mean, you kind of have, but at the same time, it's like...
It's very, and this is not necessarily criticism per se, but it is a very slow film. There's not a lot that happens. It's
perfect. But it's short. See, it's got to be long.
It's got to be long for nothing happens.
Oh, you want long and nothing to happen.
It's got some good killing.
Or good killing. Short and good killing. It sounds like there's just like, dog gets angry. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then the dog gets put down.
Well, that's what happens when you try to bite Carrie Fox.
Well, the dog dies. Hear that, Ema? You can't see this movie now.
But you don't see the dog die, thank God. You don't see anything bad happen to the
Doesn't
dog.
matter.
Well,
Canceled.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to a real monster movie. Let's go to Underwater, because that's a monster movie,
That
right?
is a monster movie, and I thought it was fantastic.
I'm hearing that people are like, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
This was great.
I'm hearing good things, too.
I was really excited
It was
to
not
see
screened
this.
for critics, right?
It was.
It was. Okay, all right.
It was screened, yeah.
I'm thinking of something else then.
The Grudge wasn't screened for
That's
critics,
what I'm thinking of.
which is coming up next.
Yeah. But Underwater.
Yeah, but Underwater was great. So I know we've talked about on the show before. I am here for Kristen Stewart. I'm here for anything she's in, even Terrible Twilight. I don't care. I'll watch her play chess in that terrible shit show. But anyway, love Kristen Stewart.
K-Stew.
K-Stew all the way. And I'm especially loving it when she's coded queer, because she is queer in real life, but she's not queer in the film, or maybe she is, but they never talk about it. But regardless, so Kristen Stewart and several other people are underwater researchers. She's a mechanical engineer on a station in the Mariana Trench, like down deep below. It's like the deepest part of the ocean in the world. And it's very eerie right from the start, like the way the camera's working and the score, like everything just feels like very tense and creepy and weird. And right from the start, like the movie does not waste any time. Right from the start, there's a leak. Like she feels water dripping, and there's like a leak in the station, and then there's like an implosion, and like she's running through the station trying to alert people to let them know that some shit's going down, like, water's coming, we gotta secure, batten down the hatches, all that kind of shit. And there's one of her colleagues is in the control room with her, and two of their colleagues are running as the water's like coming, and we're only like 5 minutes into the film at this point, and like it's not wasting any time.
It's the opposite of The Abyss.
Yes. Oh, I love The Abyss.
I do too. Well, they do have that sub crash at the beginning, but still.
But still, it takes a while to get going.
Yeah.
But that still has the most terrifying scene I've ever seen, the drowning scene.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
That is brutal. Brutal. But so Kristen Stewart has to make a decision, and her colleague is like, close the door, we're going to die. And she's like hesitating because she wants to let, obviously her friends and colleagues make it, and no, the door closes. So, oh no. So the whole entire film is about how this station that they were working on is about to collapse, and they're going to die. So they need to get out, and they need to get to the next station, which is miles away. But the problem is they have to put their suits on, and their captain suggests they walk across, like, not
the ocean floor.
Not the ocean floor, but kind of like there are these, because I thought at first it was the ocean floor, but it's not. It's like there are these like ramps or something that like kind of go across, or there's different ledges. So it's not technically the ocean floor, but they are the bottom.
Oh, is it like is it like they're on the edge of a cliff, or like an abyss, perhaps?
Something like that, yeah. So they have to walk to get to the next station, which is miles away. But it's like pitch black. They're, like, what do you do? Like, I mean, they have lights on their like helmets.
They don't have little submarines or anything?
No. So so there were escape pods or little submarines or something, but they're all gone or destroyed. So
in the implosion?
Yeah, so they don't. That's why they don't have any way to get to the next station except to walk. So there's 6 of them, including Kristen Stewart, and also Jessica Henshaw, and T.J. Miller, and Vincent Cassel are some of the.
Vincent Cassel, well, he must die. The French guy always dies.
T.J. Miller has got to be dead meat pretty early in the movie. Otherwise, I feel like more people would be objecting to this film.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it follows horror trope rules, and the first person to die is the black guy.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Really?
I was really disgusted by that. I mean, I really like this film, but I'm like, real? What the fuck? Like,
actually, wouldn't he be the third person to die?
Technically the third person, but we don't know who
I
those
was
other
paying
people
attention.
are. You were paying attention. But we don't know who those other people are. Like, we don't even see their faces.
They don't have characters.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know their names. We don't know anything about them. So
Fish Food 1 and Fish Food 2 in the script.
Basically. So yeah, so that was a real disappointment. But yes, TJ Miller is next to die. So he doesn't last too long. But his way of dying is so disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty
amazing.
brutal. His head explodes or something.
Yeah, he basically gets ripped out through his suit, and so his helmet just bursts blood. It's amazing.
Is this rated R?
No.
Oh, interesting.
No, yeah.
Exploding head, but not rated R.
Right. I don't think. Yeah.
I'll look it up. You can keep going.
I think it's PG-13, which is kind of surprising. But anyway, as they're going along, before the death starts happening, they start hearing really strange noises, like banging into the station, and they just assume it's like debris falling or from what they hypothesize could be an earthquake. They're not really sure.
Yeah.
But as they go along, they start seeing weird things in the water, and they see a creature that attacks T.J. Miller and one of the other guys, and so they bring it back to the station before they venture ahead, and it's like this really weird, small, like alien-looking creature, and it's got talons on it, and it's got a weird mouth, and at some point they realize, like, what if this is like a baby? What if this is not even the full size creature?
Boy.
Oh my.
Yeah, so as they're going along, obviously more and more things happen, and they see the adult creatures, which are much bigger, much more vicious,
much angrier,
a
little bit surly. Their child is missing.
Exactly.
They still have familial instincts, but okay.
Apparently. And they're also attracted to light, so a lot of times they have to turn their lights off. And then
walk through and they're so far underwater that you can't see.
Yeah.
What about the pressure? Is there some kind of mention of like, hey, these suits are super awesome?
There is talk about the pressure. So at one point, one of the creatures attacks and drags Kristen Stewart and Vincent Cassel, and then Kristen Stewart has like grabbed onto Vincent Cassel, and like his suit is compromised, and he's like, let me go, or the pressure's gonna kill both of us. So there is talk about the pressure and how terrible it is, and you can't just ascend because then you'll get the bends, right? And yeah, exactly. You can die that way too. Yeah, so it's all kinds of fun stuff down below. So, but as this is going along, this kind of survival creepy monster movie, there's a lot of talk about death, and as they're traversing their way through the stations and through the ocean, they keep coming across dead bodies. Not a surprise, but they also keep talking about the dead body, like they have to take people's mementos, like that they should take like a photo or the wallet or a piece of jewelry or something to give to a family member when they make it back. And there's some really intriguing things and kind of commentary on death and grief, because Kristen Stewart, you find out, is grieving the loss of her fiance who died in a diving accident, because right from the start of the film, she's really terrified to get in a diving suit. And I'm like, why is she so scared? Like, she's a mechanical engineer. She's been down here, and she fucking does this for a living. Right, exactly. So I'm like, why is she so tense? And it's kind of annoying at first because Jessica Henshaw is also really nervous, and they're the only two nervous people, and it's both of the women. But it kind of makes sense for Jessica Henshaw because she is a research assistant, so she just, I guess, started doing this. And then with Kristen Stewart, you find out it's because of her, passed away fiance. So it also kind of makes sense. But yeah, there's some interesting things about grief and love and bereavement. So I like that. I like that this film is not just a straight monster movie, but that it's kind of talking about some interesting things. And it also has kind of an environmentalism, anti-consumerism bent too, because Jessica Henshaw talks about how they brought this on themselves because they drilled too deep and they shouldn't have been down there and they're taking too much. And she says like she got angry, meaning I don't know, like she's feminizing the creatures or talking about Mother Earth or what have you, but it's also kind of a, compelling commentary on that too. So the film keeps going and it's great. I think the pacing is fantastic. I was riveted the entire time. There are some great gory moments. I really just thought this was fantastic. And I've seen some, as again, I'm bringing up our colleague Dee Crimmins, who talked about how people are making comparisons between Alien and how these are two very different films. And I agree with her. Like, yes, it's easy to make that comparison to Alien, but they are definitely different films in their tone and in what they're exploring, thematically. This actually reminded me a lot of The Descent as well, kind of the claustrophobia of The Descent.
That's the Caves movie?
Yes, which I loved. But yeah, so this was, and there are some, like TJ Miller, I don't find him really funny, and he's not really super funny in this, although he is comedic relief, but he talks about, he's like, this better not be some 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea shit. And so you think you've seen the creatures at their full size, and you haven't.
I see.
And yeah, there's like a kaiju size.
Oh wow.
creature still to come at the climax.
Wow. Okay, so who makes it out alive? No one.
No, people make it out, but not necessarily who you might think.
So Kristen Stewart doesn't make it.
She does not make it out.
Does she sacrifice herself?
She does. She sacrifices herself so the lovebirds can get out. Jessica Henshaw, the research assistant, and her boyfriend, whose name is Smith in the film.
Oh, okay.
And yes.
Okay.
And they get out.
What's with all the dead bodies on the ocean floor? Did we ever figure that out?
It's it's dead bodies from the station implosion, as well as from I want to call them aliens, but whatever the creatures are,
chomping people.
Yeah, it's from them too. So yeah.
Okay.
That's what I believe. I mean, it's very possible I could have missed it, but that's what I believe it's from.
Well.
So yeah. So this was a great film. This was a lot of fun. I found it riveting, really tense, atmospheric. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great.
Okay.
Really fun film to begin the year.
So I'm interested in The Grudge.
Oh, okay.
Because The Grudge, the Japanese Grudge, is not bad.
I've never seen it.
The one with, is it Sarah Michelle Gellar? Is that who it is?
I think so.
It's not so good.
I've not seen that either.
But this stars Andrea Riseborough. Very intriguing.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I was really interested in this as well because it also has John Cho.
John Cho
yes.
and Damien Bashir. Ooh.
Yes.
This is very cool.
Jackie Weaver.
Yeah.
Great cast.
Lynn Shay? Yeah.
Yep. Really great cast. Donald Faison, not Donald Faison, Frankie Faison.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, Donald Faison, that's the next
He's
film.
in the wave.
Forget that.
Yes. But so the director, I'm going to massacre his name, unfortunately, Nicholas Pesci.
It looks like that.
He did The Eyes of My Mother a couple years ago, which is a gorgeous horror film. It's in black and white. It's about a daughter who is devoted to her mother, and she's alone, and she's like searching for love and connection, but she's really creepy. But anyway,
see, I would have preferred a movie like The Spleen of My Mother. That'd be my movie.
No, there's like a weird obsession with eyes, and there's an eye thing that happens in the Grudge reboot as well. And I'm like, oh, there's his style.
Yeah,
because there's some eyes gouged out. I'm like, oh, there we go.
Is it Fulci who always gouged the eyes? Who was that? The Giallo director. I can't remember. But The Beyond and yeah. Anyway.
Anywho. But yeah, so I went in completely new because I had never seen any of the Grudge films. But I was very excited because I love the director and I love the cast, and I liked it.
But you didn't love it.
Well, I may need to sit with it a bit more, but I did really like it. There's something different happening in this film in that there's 3 different timelines with 4 different stories, and the film keeps flipping to to each of the different timelines, which I really enjoy a nonlinear narrative, and this is definitely that. And it starts off in like 2004, and there's a woman who's in Tokyo, and there's some shit that went down, and she's calling her family. She's like, I gotta leave this job early, I'm going home. And then she goes back to the States with her family, and then it jumps to 2006, and it's Andrea Riceborough, and her husband has died, and she's living with her son, and they're moving to a new town, and she's a cop. And like, you find this out like all right away. And then they find a dead body in a car that had been there for like a year. And so it was last year. And then you find out she was at the house where there was a murder. And the murder was the woman who is from Tokyo. And she killed her family. Like, she killed her daughter and her husband and herself. And so there's all these murders that are related to this house.
And the Grudge.
Yes, exactly. Because the house is cursed. Just like in the other Grudge films.
Is that, you know what? I don't remember.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I really don't remember. I remember nothing. I remember One Missed Call better than I do The Grudge. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you remember there was that period of time where everybody was remaking Japanese horror films?
Yes.
I think because of the success of the Ring remake, the first Ring, or the first American Ring. So, and I was just surprised that they're doing The Grudge again. I'm assuming this is like a, remake just in English.
No, it's a reboot.
It's a same difference.
No, that's different.
No.
They're not remaking it.
But it's kind of like when you go see the Thing prequel.
Oh,
it's
God.
the same movie, but it's actually the ending is just like the Norway. Oh, that's how he got his 2 faces together.
Right.
No, I'm not saying it is or isn't the same movie because I didn't even see the other ones. I can't say. I'm just saying, but this
is what the marketing is telling you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it is taking place after.
Okay. I mean, all the movies are called Rambo and they're sequels, so whatever.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a sequel if it is, you're right, regurgitating the same exact story over and over?
I don't know if it is. I got to see it. So, all right.
But Andrea Riceborough is great in it. John Cho is great in it.
He's great in everything.
He is. Mm-hmm. He really, really is. So the acting is great. I was craving some more really incredible cinematography because that's what The Eyes of My Mother is. Like, there are just some stunning frames that are just gorgeous and haunting. And for me, this film kind of lacked that. Like, everything kind of has this sickly yellow pallor to it, which I guess is in theme, which much like Underwater, this film is also about grief and holding on to memories of loved ones and letting go of loved ones and things like that. So
I feel like someone's sending us a message.
Possibly. But yeah, so it was good. It was tense. But yeah, I just wanted more. Whereas Underwater did have some jump scares, but there were parts of Underwater that I literally like jumped out of my seat. This didn't happen with The Grudge. And that is not a criticism because there are horror movies that are fantastic, which are not scary, and that's okay. But I guess I just kind of wanted a little more from this just because I had really high expectations because of the director and the actors. But it is always a delight to see Andrea Riceborough and John Cho. And the ending is kind of interesting too. I don't know, again, because I haven't seen it, I don't know how it compares to the other films. But the whole time, as like all these timelines are happening and people are getting murdered and people are like going insane and like coming unhinged, and like a detective who worked on the case has ended up in the psych
loony
ward.
bin.
Yes. Yeah, I hate calling it that, but yes. And like John Cho ends up murdering his pregnant wife.
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he was the real estate agent that sold the house, and once you go inside the house, then you become cursed, and then you see all the ghosts.
It's like Murder House.
Yes. Oh, Murder House. Oh no, I'm thinking Murder Party. Never mind.
Killer Party?
No, Murder Party.
There's also Killer Party.
I believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as all these timelines are converging, I'm like, why doesn't somebody just burn this fucking house down? Like, why are we dealing with this nonsense years later? And that's exactly what Andrea Riceborough does.
Then she gets arrested for arson.
No! That's funny enough, that doesn't happen. Even though she's a cop, you'd think
Yeah.
that, there'd be some repercussions with the arson. But no, it's not quite what happens in the end. So
is there like one of those post-credit things where it's like dun dun dun, and there's a ghost like hee hee behind like a tree or something?
We didn't even need the house. The ground was cursed all along.
So there isn't a tee ghost, and there's not a post-credit scene. But as she's hugging her son goodbye, and she's thinking like everything's great, everything's awesome, and then she's hugging her son, and then in the background, I will say this: there are some great shots happening in the background of a lot of the frames, which is nice that it's not just reliant on jump scares. It's like you really have to watch everything that's happening, and I do really, really appreciate that. And her son is in the background. And he's like, "Bye, Mom, I'm going to school." So, and she's like slowly backing away from her son that she's hugging because it's not her son. And yes,
he's back somewhere else going to school.
Well, the real son is going to school. But
And
the son she was
ghost
hugging
son.
was a ghost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? So yeah, because this is going to be continuing as a series. So yes.
I don't know if I can see movies with all the dead children. I don't know.
There's just one dead child.
dead
and a
pregnant
dead
wife.
pregnant wife. Yes.
Yeah, that's a little roof stoof.
Yeah. There also is a really gory scene where there's a woman who is in a hospital and she throws herself over a stairwell and she cracks her neck like on the banister, and then she hits the ground and her like almost like her body explodes blood. It's great.
gross.
It's like it was great. But yes.
Okay.
So so I enjoyed this. I wanted a little more from it. I think I had really high expectations, but it was enjoyable. I liked it.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Well, let's move on to The Wave.
Yes.
I think that Evan, based on what you've said, well, what did you think?
I wished it was better.
Aww.
I feel like it was a pretty decent idea or premise that it totally bungled it.
Yeah.
There's this whole like it's like a sci-fi movie, but it waits way too long to drop the sci-fi into the plot, and then by the time it got there, it was like not enough time to really explore it or flesh it out to any degree.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it.
Ooh.
But I can't say that it was good, but I did like it. For one thing, I always like to see Donald Faison.
Yes.
And also playing a character unlike a character I've seen him play before. Because I feel like he kind of gets, kind of typecast as Turk.
Definitely.
But he's definitely not Turk in this.
No,
for one thing, he has hair.
What?
Yeah, he does have hair.
My mind is already blown.
Yeah, and it's weird because he kind of looks like if Donald Faison were a character on the Cosby Show in the 90s, what his hair might look like.
Yeah.
Even though it's not set in the 90s, they just give him this super dorky hairdo.
Yeah. I don't mind movies that don't explain themselves, and this movie does not explain why all of this stuff is going on.
No, but it also just does. I just feel like it doesn't do a good job of handling in a way that it even just makes sense.
Well,
on its own
I mean,
terms.
the whole idea that, is that Justin Long is this is it a tax? It's an insurance attorney.
Yes,
and
he works for an insurance company.
He's found a way to not pay a $4 million claim to this firefighter who didn't die while he was working, right? He died.
Correct. He had a heart attack at home, and the thing was that he found some problem that an unreported issue where the guy had a problem with his heart, and he wasn't taking the right medication or something like that.
And he chose to take not the right medication, which is why they're denying the claim, which you find out later. But somebody tells Justin Long, hey, come to the board meeting tomorrow at 9:30, and you can present your thing, and then they'll promote you, and you'll be a partner. Yay! And he's like, sweet. And so Donald Faison's like, ooh, we got to go out and party tonight. And he's like, no. Justin Long says, no, I will not go party.
I need to go and sit on the couch with my wife. And
who hates me, by the way.
Quiet night in. Yeah, it starts out innocently enough with his wife where you think, okay, she seems like maybe a stick in the mud. And then it's just like he uses that as a license to cheat on her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is one of the movie's problems. It's like she's a dick for no good reason. And I kind of feel like if you're going to make someone a dick, they got to have, in the movies, they got to have a reason. You can't just like make your wife a dick because then she's Rachel McAdams in that fucking Woody Allen movie.
Midnight in Paris.
which is like the most misogynistic role I've seen in like 20 years.
This movie, I would say, is fairly misogynistic in that way, that they just make his wife this generic shrew who's terrible, so it's okay that he meets this girl at a bar with Donald Faison and then cheats on her.
I kind of forgot about that whole angle. I was just more interested in like, why is he going through the back door in his house, but now he's in his office?
But yeah, and then he like kind of ends up with her if you
But he's dead.
But he's dead. It's
what?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I just have to say that is the laziest, awful, disgusting writing. I can't stay. If you want to have your characters cheat, have them cheat, but don't make their spouse or significant other such an asshole that's like, oh, well, of course you're gonna cheat because they're a jerk.
Yeah, because it's a situation where he says, no, I want to go home, and he's sitting at home and he's bored and the lights are out, and she's like, I'm going to bed, and he's like, but it's 9:30, and she's like, well, I'm tired. And she's like, I want to go buy this dress. And he's like, yeah, but we don't have any money. And she's like, well, you bought this 4K TV. And do you even know what 4K does? And he's like, no, I can't
I'm
even
kind of with her.
Yeah, she has a point there.
Like, I'm kind of with her. I want a dress and go to bed early, too. There you go.
But that's also one of the kind of a plot point of the movie is that he's done all of these. He's over-leveraged himself in lots of ways.
Mm-hmm. So he's a fool.
Yes.
And wait, he's dead?
Well, it's definitely kind of got an anti-consumer twist.
Yeah, it starts with this idea of doing drugs, and so he goes out with Donald Faison and goes to the party with this girl, and this crazy guy in a side room offers him some drug, and he takes the drug, and then he fucking wakes up the next morning sitting in that chair in an empty house that's just wrecked from the party. And this Asian family comes home and is like, what the fuck is going on? And they call the cops. And then he's like, I don't have my wallet. My phone's not charged. I don't know. I'm still high on this drug. Because he just keeps skipping time. He just keeps like losing time. Where he's at home. His wife, he frantically gets home. He's taking off his clothes. And his wife's like, why didn't you come home last night? And she picks up his shirt and smells another woman. And then gets really angry. And starts throwing shit at him. And he's got a toothbrush in his mouth.
With the other woman.
Yeah.
You know, well, like they weren't like boning, but they were doing drugs together.
They kissed. The thing was that like you dab this drug on your tongue and then you.
Oh, that's right.
You tongue to tongue, like,
which is basically like if you did ecstasy in the 90s. That's kind of what you did.
That is what it sounds like.
You know.
Yeah. So anyway, so she gets mad and she's throwing stuff at him, and he goes through the door to the garage, and he's in his office. He's just in his office all of a sudden.
Yeah.
This movie sounds very convoluted.
Yeah. Well, then he's convoluted. In the boardroom and he's presenting his thing, and they're like, "You're saving the company $4 million." But then
like satanic people.
Yeah.
With, like voices get all satany and devilly.
Yeah. And there's
after the hallucinogenic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like some kind of it almost looks like rotoscoping, except not that kind of the flappiness that rotoscoping has.
Right.
And everybody is like a deep yellow and a deep red, and the colors in this movie are quite vibrant.
Yes.
Overall.
That is definitely a plus.
Like
they are vibrant colors.
But then he's like, he wants to retrace his steps.
To find his wallet, which was missing, and his wife calls him at work to say that all of their accounts have been emptied and there's no money in any of them. And so not only has he cheated on her, but they're fucked.
Yeah, but it turns out that he emptied all their accounts because he can jump through time.
Yeah, so he realizes later in the movie, and I think far too late in the movie, that he can jump through time, and what he has to do is he has to smash a clock to do it. So he picks up a clock and smashes it on the ground, and then that allows him to travel to whatever point. So through some kind of manipulation, he realizes he can travel forward and back, and he's the one who empties his accounts because he needs the money to pay off a drug dealer who he steals drugs from, and he can't remember what he did with them.
He did them all.
He did all the drugs.
But then they were in the duffel bag.
Oh,
in the
that's
car
right.
At the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super convoluted what his whole entire plan is. I guess basically. He dies.
And he signs over his life insurance policy to the firefighter's family.
The firefighter's family. Yeah, it's fucking...
Wait,
it doesn't...
Does he die as he's jumped through time?
No, he's dead.
No, he comes through time.
I'm so confused.
And he sees a car accident, and he goes to approach it, and his boss, who is drunk driving, hits him with the car, hits Justin Long with the car, and kills him.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
His
asshole boss.
Then Donald Faison witnesses everything, and he's talking to the police later, and he's like, I guess he must have been crossing the street to help the accident victim because there's the other car accident. So there's two car accidents basically, and then a cop is searching his boss's car because he's just hit and killed Justin Long. and they find all the drugs in the trunk. So during one of his time jumps, that's when Justin Long stole the drugs and put them in the trunk. And
yeah.
The only, I mean, like I said, I don't mind movies that don't explain themselves, but this movie like kind of goes out of its way to not explain itself. It's almost like, you could throw us a few bones. I mean,
yeah, you could give us something here that makes some kind of sense.
Yeah.
With the time travel or what his plan / end game is, because there's this whole angle about how he's a horrible person because he's a lawyer helping insurance companies not pay claims. And the guy who he meets gives him the drug and becomes his kind of like spirit guide is talking about how the universe is chaotic and it's always trying to harmonize itself, and chaos is the way of universe kind of balancing things out. And the whole idea of him taking this drug is to help him realize what he's done wrong and balance things out, i.e. he needs to leave this horrible job and stop doing this and stop screwing people out of their money and help this woman who he's screwed over, I guess, or to help this family he's screwed over.
Yeah.
That,
and
I
also,
guess, is like the overall plan, is that he becomes a better person by dying in the name of this cause.
Also, you'll get to be with the hot woman from A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Sheila Vand.
Yeah. So
I always like Sheila Vand.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
She's good in this.
She's great in
she
everything.
doesn't do much. I mean, she's kind of there as window dressing, which is a bummer.
That is a bummer
because
she's incredibly talented.
Because you would like to see, because the whole impetus for this journey that he's on is her, right? So let's give her something to do. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe she's a shaman. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
she's got the secret of life. Who knows?
Maybe she does, but instead she's just like, look up at the stars. They're all colorful. Yay.
And she doesn't even, I guess, technically exist if you think about it, because the woman that he goes out with
is someone else.
Like, her face is not the face that he imagined her face to be.
Right. That's true.
This movie is interesting.
Yeah, it's super convoluted, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I think that's the problem, is that it just doesn't make much sense in the end. And I agree with you, Dave, to a degree. I can accept that in a movie, but I just don't feel like it does the rest of the stuff right enough that I'm okay with certain things not making sense.
Yeah, at the end, when he's like, when he's got the 2 sets of papers and he's going to sign his like life insurance policy, and then he's got the policy that they're not paying the claim on. And he's like, oh, my God, I realize what to do now. I'm just like, dude, we're fucking 78 minutes into this movie.
Right.
It's like, the movie's only like another 8 minutes long. It's a short movie.
It's a straight up hour and a half.
So, yeah. I don't know. It's, for your non-Justin Long fans, I'd say skip it because he's the whole show. But
yeah, basically, this guy stumbling around, having no fucking clue what he's doing, and then just making enemies because he's an idiot and he thinks that he's high on the drugs, when it turns out that I don't even think it's a drug at all. It's just he somehow has acquired this time travel power.
Yeah.
So the time travel has nothing to do with the drug?
It doesn't seem like it.
He takes the drug and he thinks he's still high on the drug, but when he goes back in time and he meets the shaman guy, essentially gave it to him, he's like, this wasn't about the drugs.
Ah,
yeah.
So, all right.
The spoon is not a spoon. So
shrug.
The Matrix.
So that's, I mean, I don't think I can recommend it to anybody, but I mean, it's definitely like a midnight movie kind of thing. Which I think is how it's going to play. I think it's playing at the Coolidge at midnight, one of their midnight shows.
That would make sense. Then.
It opens today, Friday, but I don't know. It's definitely short, so you're not going to lose a lot of time. I might say, wait for the streaming.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say, Evan?
No, I think that's shockingly little, I guess, to say about the way.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's one of those movies that like you have to see it to explain it. You can't explain it because it doesn't explain itself. So
Yeah, I have to say I don't feel like I read the synopsis and I don't feel like I understand this movie any better after listening to you guys talk about it.
I don't understand it any better after watching it. So that should tell you something.
Yeah, there's that too.
So Dave, what did you enjoy about it?
I just kind of liked how frenetic it was. I liked that.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm no Justin Long fan either, but I thought he was good in the role.
Okay.
I really liked the drug dealer guy. I thought he was amazing.
Oh yeah,
I've seen him in a million.
Fucking weirdo.
He always plays a weirdo. I can't remember the actor's name. And it was just, like I said, nice to see Donald Faison. So the problems I had with it, the fucking weird written by a misogynist wife thing that I don't understand.
Yeah, why put that in there?
Well, I mean, it's a crutch, right? So, but I'm sure there are better ways to do it. I'm not going to Dr. Chris this screenplay, mostly because I've seen the movie, but I don't have anything else to say about it. It's like, I liked how frenetic it was. I liked Justin Long's performance. It looked pretty good in parts when it was doing its drug trippy thing, and that's basically it. Yeah, and I think that wraps up Spoiler Piece Theater.
It does. Except I have to go back and say that I've been saying the wrong name for one of the actors for Underwater. It's Jessica Henwick, not Henshaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yes, Jessica Henwick, who's great.
Okay.
And I love her.
Well, noted.
And she survives.
Okay.
Anyway.
Early correction issue.
Early correction.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, anyway, this is Spoiler Piece Theater. This is the podcast where you can find it anywhere. Anywhere you find podcasts, you can find our podcast. It's amazing. That's how technology works. And if
we're on the platforms.
Yeah, and you can get in touch with us if you want to through the website, spoilerpiece.com, the Facebook page, Spoiler Piece Theater, the tweets, at Spoiler Piece.
Yes.
The tweets.
The tweets, which is also what we are on Instagram.
At Spoiler Piece, yeah.
And if you want to show us how much you really love us, you could throw us a few bones monthly for our Patreon, patreon.com/spoilerpiece, and you will get exclusive audio. This week we're talking about The Firm, starring Tom Cruise, Gene Hackman, and a bunch of mafia guys. And it's the exclusive audio stuff is, I don't know, I always have so much fun with it. So because it's something you want to see. It's not like some movie you had to see.
Right, and it's an opportunity for us to, our patrons are involved. For as low as $5 a month, you can be involved in voting in polls. You get the exclusive audio. For our $10 tier, you can, pick movies for us to see, and we'll talk about them. So if you have ones, you're like, I want to hear what they have to say about this one.
Yeah.
You get to tell us.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. So, like we said, patreon.com/spoilerpiece, and you can send us an email, spoilerpiece@gmail.com, or you can give us a call.
At 862-21-PEACE.
And you can leave us a voicemail, and we will listen to it. And if it's a hoot, we'll put it on the show.
Only if it's a hoot, though.
Yeah, only if I actually go hoot when I'm listening to it. So that's not true. Anyway, my name is Dave Riedel. I write for Salt Lake City Weekly, Orlando Weekly. I'm a member of BAFTA, and you can follow me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Instagram as Dave Sees Movies.
I'm Megan Kearns. I'm a freelance writer, editor of Bitchflix, and a member of BAFTA as well. And you can find me on Twitter at OpinionSWorld.
And my name is Evan Cree, and I'm editor for The Independent. I'm co-chair of BAFTA and co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Letterboxd as Real Recon.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye. Bye.